This is Hannibal here from thehannibaltv.com, and today we have a guest that I had on a couple of months ago. He's back. Used to be in ECW, WCW, WWE, the Kansas City territory, all over the world. None other than Mr. Hughes himself, also known as the Big Cat, also known as Curtis Hughes.
That's right. Well, it's cracking, Hannibal. Great to be back with you. Last time we was on here, I was up in Connecticut doing some gigs up that way and doing some virtual signings up there, and had a pretty good time. Made a few bucks, But glad to be back on here and talk about the wrestling business.
Yeah, and we didn't get to see your wall of fame. I see the pictures of you and Harley in the back. Maybe you could show us some of those.
Yeah, we got all kinds of different things on the wall here, of course, up there and, all over the place here. And then this old school sign. I'm trying to raise it back so you can see it a little better there without tearing everything up. But as you can see, the Big Cat furry thing up there and stuff all the way down the line right there. So, I got memorabilia all in this place, and it's good to come in and I get to see all the memories that I've created through the years of professional wrestling. And professional wrestling's been good to me, and I've had opportunity to travel this world and see this great world God made for every American and a human being on this planet to see. And so, it's great. I look forward to coming home and walking around and seeing all the achievements that I made in professional wrestling. Also, too, just so blessed to be able to train young men and women to, do the things that I did. Walk down that aisle in front of 20,000 people and win titles and gold and tag team titles and the whole 9 yards, man. I dare you. It's off the chain with all my students. So we're going to get to that in a moment, no doubt about it.
Yeah, I understand you're back training now that everything's opening up again in Georgia, as you were telling me off camera, almost back to full normal there. What's going on with the training?
Well, I'm over at Underground Elite Fitness over there. It's Underground Wrestling out in Madonna, Georgia. Micah Taylor runs that over there, and we got together and came up with an arrangement to bring in Total Protection there to train, a few days a week over there to young men and women that want to become good professional wrestlers and learn from the best. I am trainer of superstars, trainer of champions. That is no lie. Apollo Crews, Intercontinental Champion. You got freaking Moose, that was the TNA champion. You got Jonathan Gresham, was just all-around champion. Heath Slater, one half of the WWE tag team champions. You got Kiera Hogan, that was a TNA ladies tag team champion, and Dexter Lomas down there at NXT. Antoine Brewer in the WWF. He's a referee, and AEW and Black Baron and SP the Ghost and Chad Skywalker and Ring of Honor. So they're all over the place, man. And so I decided to I had took a long hiatus from training for a while after 18 years straight of teaching people. And so when the owner decided to retire, I said, well, here's my time to take a break. And I took a little break, and I was going to come back before that Corona hit a little sooner, but then that kind of delayed it a little bit. And then once the Corona thing got, kind of slowed down and everybody's getting shots and all that, I wanted to get back in the training game, and that's what I'm doing. I'm over here at, like I said, Underground Elite. If you want to be a professional wrestler and learn from the best, Total Protection, Mr. Hughes, trainer of champions and superstars, give me a call, 404-668-7003. And so, I'm looking forward to it. It's great. Got some hot young talent. Gabriel Dean's one of my up and coming future superstars in the world of professional wrestling, and SP the Ghost, Chad Skywalker, as I said. But You got this new league that popped up, which is AEW. And, a lot of these young guys are starting to they think, I guess, that, if they go to that company, they can get a job. But from what I noticed from watching them, it's not what I would say good wrestling. I'm just going to shoot straight with you, bam, bam. It's not just good wrestling, in my opinion. I was watching it one day. It was on the road up in West Virginia and went and checked in the hotel there and was on television. And I was like, oh, what is this? And I was watching it. I'm going like, my God, what is this? Right? I mean, it was just boom, 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 bam, boom, 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 bam, boom, 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 like a video game. I'm well, where's the wrestling at? It's crazy. Well, I mentioned I had a student by the name of SP the Ghost, and he's a very talented guy. He wears paint and has a great character. He started it out at the WWA4 where I was at. So he's been working on this gimmick for a long, long time. And he was one of my really prized former trainees, really damn good. And so he decided he wanted to go over to this school that QT Marshall is the head trainer over there. And I guess he runs AEW. And I guess a lot of my guys figure if they go over there, they can get a shot in AEW, if they, go to his school and all this and that and the other. Well, a lot of my students that I've trained and they go somewhere else, they're already fully trained. So there's really nothing else you can teach them. So they're pretty much going over there so they can try to get a gig, okay, in this big company. Well, Baron Black, they use him all the time, even though he's pretty talented, but they always keep him on dark. I'm going like, he done like 5 freaking trials, man. How many trials you got to do to get up to the big dance? I'm going like, what's going on here, right? Dark, 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 dark. No big dance over here. And then SP the Ghost, he goes over there, and I don't know what they told him, but apparently he thought he was getting a tryout, see? And he goes over there, and they tell him, hey, man, we got a trial for you. Now, remember I told you he wears paint, he has a great gimmick, it looks great, the paint's tight. Well, he wants to use the guy, but he don't want to put his paint on. Well, yeah, we don't need your paint, just go out there and be yourself. What? So how the hell are you supposed to get a job if you're not seeing this guy's character, right? I'm going like, because I've been in this business a long, long time, and I can tell you this much. If somebody really wants to use you, they're going to have you put your gear on that you've been perfecting for almost 6-7 years, right? And so they want to see if they can draw some money with you. Well, in this situation, I was like, well, this don't look like they're going to use him to draw some money, because one of my other former students sent me this video of the match. It was a tag match, and they were going against, I don't know who they was, but I don't know how they thought that this match was going to get over. Well, anyway, he gets in the ring, and they just body slam 10 times in a row. 10 times in a row, right? I'm talking to QT, and I'm going like, hey, man, what's going on, man? Why you jobbing a guy like that? Hey, listen, I ain't got nothing against doing jobs and all that stuff, okay? I did them. We all did them if you've been in the wrestling business. But 10 body slams in a row, that's kind of like jobber overkill, man. It's like, I don't care about Mr. Hughes. That's one of his guys, and I'm going to freaking show him who's got the Duke, which is freaking wrong. So I hit him up, and I told him about it, and I told him this. Hey, man, I appreciate the way you treat my students. I said, this guy is ready to rock and roll. He can help draw some money for your company. You don't have to kill him like that. I don't have nothing about doing jobs, but you're going to get on there and humiliate the guy? Thank God, and I said, thank God he didn't have his paint on, because that would have pretty much just killed him. He wouldn't have been able to come back from that. I don't know if you ever heard anybody doing 10 body slams to try to get a damn job for a wrestling company. I'd been in the business over 30 years. I ain't never seen it. Have you?
I think the most body slams I've seen in a row is 3.
Exactly. 3. I mean, we talking 10 here. This guy, bam, 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 bam. I didn't ran out. I lost count. But I was so upset about it. I was like, I got to let this person know, because every individual that's out there that runs shows, right? and I see something like that, and I have a way to reach in you, and that was one of my students, I'm gonna let you know about it because they're real talented. Why would you dog a talented individual that can help your company? I just don't understand. And so I let him have it, and I don't care about what he says or anything. It ain't gonna hurt me one bit. You understand? But I told my guys when they come and see yours truly, Total Protection, Mr. Hughes, I'm gonna look out for you. I'm gonna teach you how to wrestle. I'm gonna have your back. If somebody's trying to dog you out and I see it, I ain't gonna bite my tongue. Hell, WWF wouldn't do you like that. Hell, ECW wouldn't do you like that. You know, I mean, Ring of Honor wouldn't do you like that. Impact wouldn't do you like that. NWA wouldn't do you like that. No company would humiliate a human being in that way. Because most of the time, a company, if they want to bring you in, they try to look at you, see what you can do for them as far as draw some money. That's what it's supposed to be all about, see? But that incident was not, period. And I was pissed off and I let them know about it.
Now, was there a pin after the 10 body slams?
Well, after he gave him the 10 body slams, it's on YouTube,
Yeah.
AEW Dark. But after he gave him the 10 body slams, now Micah Taylor's one of his guys was there. I forgot his name, but one of his guys was tagging with SV. And after the 10, he tags Micah Taylor's guy in there. He's pissed off about it too. And he comes in and they just demolish him too. So if this supposed to be a tryout, man, okay? Or if this supposed to be a look-see, nobody in that entire match got over. It don't matter if those guys were the ones that's supposed to get the Duke, but they did not achieve the goal, which was supposed to be whoever's supposed to get over, they got their hand raised, but they didn't get over because there was overkill, man. 10 body slams, beat them up, beat them up, beat them up. I mean, good Lord, what's this business coming to, man? That's why people don't watch it no more. You feel me?
Yeah, because that makes the guy giving the body slam look weak as well. If the guy can take 10 body slams and still stand on the apron after, because that should have killed him.
Exactly, you know. But it was one of my guys, so I was 38 hot about it. And I was just letting QT know, man, that was not a wise move. I mean, you can do that to all these other students that can't work. A lot of them don't know nothing. You know, some of them over there don't know how to work. I don't even know how they get a freaking look-see. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, this business is what it is. You got people that get a good gig job-wise, and then they think they're in control, and then they bring in all their people and all their friends, right? Instead of looking at it for what it really is, a business. And so to draw money, you got to have good talent. So apparently they're not thinking like that. See, so oh shoot, this new company come open. I got a gig now. So man, I guess I can get some of my guys over. I got to get it while the getting's good because we don't know how long this company going to last. But if I can get a few of them on TV, man, that'll sure make me look good over here. You know, and myself personally, like I've named off all those names, I've trained thousands and thousands of people. But you know, but the whole thing is, when your students get on TV and they start winning some legit gold, you understand, and some prestige out there, making a living, you know, family, all that stuff comes with all that when you work hard. But you got all these guys I've trained that are doing great. We're all blessed. I pray for them. Even the ones that don't like me, I pray for them. You understand? So, you know, when I see the business the way it is today, that's why I got back in the training game, because I got tired of seeing all this garbage. There's guys out here been in the business a month, and they're doing shows already. You can't you can't do shows that fast. You don't know anything. That's why people, when they go to wrestling shows, they go, man, this show sucks, man. These guys can't wrestle. Then they don't come back, see, and they wonder why. You know, they don't have a packed house anymore, because you got all these young cats training each other. You know, say for example, you know, if you wasn't in the business and your buddy was, and he only been in the business for, I'd say about 2 months, y'all out down at the local honky tonk and having a couple of cold ones, and next thing you know, he went, hey, bro, you think you can show me how to freaking wrestle? I want to get into wrestling business. But he ain't been nowhere yet. He ain't been to the top. He ain't been to no major companies. He ain't did anything. He ain't worked with no stars, but he wants you to train him, see? Well, that's why the business is down a slow death, man. So that's when I decided to get back in the game. And so, like I said, I'm at Underground Elite in Madonna, Georgia. You want to be a professional wrestler, learn from the best, give yours truly total protection, Mr. Hughes, a call 404-668-7003.
Do you mind answering a couple fan questions?
No, I don't. Go for it.
There was one fan, speaking of your students, that wanted to know who had the most natural talent of any student you worked with.
Well, that's a good question. Let me see. I ran across some talented young people that came past me. And one in particular is Uha Nation. He is Apollo Crews in WWF, WWE to some people. And when he came in, Moose as well. And when those two came in, they already looked good. So when he walked in, I was like, damn, that guy looked good. I was like, I wonder what kind of athlete he is. So, we went through the signing the waivers and paying the money and we started him off. And let me tell you, man, all I had to do was show him something one time. This is a real true statement here. This is a shoot. When Nation and Moose came in there, I only had to show them one time stuff once, and they would have it. I mean, I'd say, do it, hit the ropes like this, lock up like this, drop kick like this, punch like this, back elbow, slam, drop the elbow like this. I mean, suplex one time. And that's why it didn't take them that long to learn, because I told Nation, I was like, Apollo Crews, I was like, once I get through training you, I'm gonna wrestle you, buddy, because you gonna make it. And so, I had that eye for talent. So I know what I'm talking about. So when he walked in, I said, yeah, he gonna make it. When Moose walked in, I said, yeah, he gonna make it. When Moose came in, he just came in for the first time he came in. He just got off the football field, see? He was playing pro ball, right? Big guy. And he wanted to be a wrestler. He wanted to leave football and get in the wrestling game. So I started training him, and we got in the groove, and then he went back to play some more football, right? And he finished playing his football days and came back and finished up where we left off. And he was just like me, man. I had started in the game and then went to jail for 120 days for tearing up some furniture when I was in college, right? But then when I got out and went back, I started where I left off at, see, because I had made my mind up. I want to be a professional wrestler. And I thank God I went to the right people. The good Lord sent me to the right people. And so, Nation and Moose, Jonathan Gresham, I don't want to forget about him. He was real easy to train. He was a little bitty fella, by the way, but he ain't no more. I don't know if you've seen him lately, but I saw him working out these last few days, and he's pretty jacked, man. I saw him bench pressing, look like 1,000 pounds, but you wouldn't recognize it if I showed you a before picture and an after picture. But I had to take all these different talents and individuals and personalities. And when they came in, I had to say, well, how am I going to train this guy? He's this big. How am I going to train this guy? He's this big and that tall and that short. So I had to put all my knowledge and wisdom together to teach these people. But yeah, those three, I would say, are the best ones that had opportunity to teach.
You're obviously a very good talker. I can't help but wonder why they never really let you talk in any of your big runs with the major companies.
Well, that's a good question, because when I started out in Kansas City, they taught us how to do promos and everything, and then went to AWA, and I was green as I don't know what, because you can look on USA, ESPN and Classics. You can see some of my earlier stuff from the earlier days of my career, and you can tell I was pretty green when it comes to promos. But as time went on, when I went to WCW, I got to talk a little bit, but not much. But I learned how to talk, But then when I went to WWF, well, before I got there, went all these other territories, and learned my skill of talking. But then when I went to WWF, they wanted to see if I can cut a promo. See, so they said, "Yeah, Curtis, cut a promo for us." And I just boom went to work, and they go, "Why come they same thing you asked, right? Why they didn't let you cut promos in those other companies?" It's like, I don't know. But he said, so Vince said, "Here you're going to talk." And I used to love it because they let it rip, man. They had these little pods that they would bring to the on the road, because we used to do TV tapings and we had to do promos for every city. And they had these little square boxes you go in that had air conditioning running through them, hot as hell though, but it had air conditioning running through them, lit up, and you go in there and cut, 10, 20 promos for all over the country and all over the planet, right? And you did so many that you got good at it, and that's how I really, homed into my skills of talking, because a lot of people, because I did the promos at the school where I trained. I mean, we taped the shows every Thursday. I was the stick man teaching the kids how to do promos. I was the commentator guy, me and Big Dave Wells and Brad Storm, and we got it over. And people used to say, "Man, you're freaking good. You're a good freaking commentator. How come WWE don't pick you up? How come these other companies don't pick you up?" Well, I tell people, it's like this. If you're not in the clique, if you're not buddy with somebody up here, then it ain't going to happen for you. It's just simple as that. And my thing is this, man. I do these podcasts because I love to tell the truth. I like to get on here and just tell people things about the game of professional wrestling, and tell people how, blessed to see all my students that I've trained that are successful out there today. And that's the joy that I get when I get up every morning, is to say, man, this is going to be a good day. Who else going to make it in the world of professional wrestling that I trained, And so, yeah, and I'd help my students by doing promos with them and showing them how to do promos and commentating their matches, and then putting them out there on the internet world, YouTube. So when people watch them, they'll say, "Hot damn, they're homed in because I'm commentating this match." And I say things that normally regular commentator don't say. I just say what's on my mind without cussing, of course. But I try to make it entertaining so you can always want to come listen and watch a match and listen, see? So all that stuff is at the WWA4 YouTube channel. All the old stuff, the new stuff, I don't know about the new stuff, but the old stuff, when I was there, the stuff is very entertaining.
Now, Harvey Whippleman was your manager for a while in WWE. There's a few fans that have asked any memories of him, and actually there's a few have asked about Giant Gonzalez as well.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
right.
Harvey.
Well, Harvey, I've been knowing Harvey forever. I met him in Memphis. No matter of fact, I met him in Kansas City a long time ago. He had came down when he was paying his dues. He worked the territory. I had seen him then, but I didn't realize later on down the road in life I was going to be with him. And so, after I got trained and started in the world of professional wrestling, when I got to WWF, see, because I used to see him in Memphis all the time, back and forth, so I knew him. But then when I got to WWF, they realized that I was a better heel than a babyface with the gimmick that I had, because I had the suit and the tie and the shades. They didn't come off when I wrestled, and so they wanted to put a manager with me, even though I could talk, right? But see, that's the good thing between me and Harvey. He knew I could talk, even though he'd say what he needed to say, but then he'd give me my little chance to say my little thing. See, so before the camera went to red, we'd sit over there and say, "All right, you're going to say your little thing, and then I'm going to talk about my, black-eyed peas and neck bones and greens, okay? And who I'm going to beat up or whatever." And so it worked out great. So if you go to the WWE Network, you can see some of those promos, and they're pretty funny because we had a ball with it. And see, back then in the WWF, guys didn't walk around with the butthole puckering all the time because they're scared they're going to lose their job if they cough, you see. And they were locked in on their contract. They didn't worry about getting fired. All they had to do was just go out there and wrestle, right? Didn't have to worry about nobody stooging on you, stuff like that. Everybody could work. Everybody was making a living. Everybody was trying to make some money. try to draw and pack the house, you see. And so and now, I mean, I don't know what they're doing these days. I mean, I'm just, that's why, like I said, decided to get back into training because for what I see, the people are not getting the knowledge that they need. You know, I enjoy teaching. And the end result is when you see one of those kids you trained and they're out there and they're working and they're doing the things that you taught them, and you can look at the fans and see how they're responding to them. That's what I get a joy out of. That's what a trainer's job is, period. Some guys go out there, man, they steal your money. $3,000, $5,000. And what kind of trainer you got? Where's he been? How much you want? It's a ripoff for some people. So if anybody out there is listening to yours truly, Total Protection, Mr. Hughes, and you want to be a good professional wrestler, do your research first. What I mean by that is you got to get online. I know everybody got a phone these days or a laptop. Get online, look at these different schools, whatever facilities, look and see who they trained and where they went. See if anybody from that school has made it. Anybody from that school has been successful, or whoever the trainer is. Look at his bio. See if he's trained, how many years and how many people have made it in the big time that he's trained. See, that is what you do when I say research on looking for a good teacher, not just a trainer. I'm a trainer and a teacher, see, because I train you how to wrestle and I teach you the ins and outs of professional wrestling. And that is what you need to be wanting to get, money's worth out of, instead of going, all right, I'm gonna go over here because so-and-so's over there and this name guy's over here, but he don't have no experience of teaching. Yes, he might have been wrestling for 30, 40 years, but he don't have no knowledge of teaching. See, that's the difference. Myself personally, I had to, how would you say, for 2 years, I had to figure it out, see? I had to figure out how I was going to structure this training thing and get the curriculum on how to teach, see? And once I figured it out, I had it down. And then that's when I started producing talent, see? And then that's when the ship started moving, see? Because when I started at that school at WWA4, the sign right here, I don't know if you can see it up there, but it's up there. You see WWA4? I stole it from the sign they had it on one of them billboards because they wasn't using it anymore. So I was like, it was there when I was there, so I took it. But anyway, when you looking for somebody to teach you, they got to know what they're doing. They got to know what they're doing. And if they don't know what they're doing, they ain't gonna teach you much. You're just gonna get your money taken from you. Because let me tell you something. I've trained almost 20 years. Going on 18 right today. And I've had students that come from other places that spent $3,000-$4,000 to get trained on how to wrestle. And they didn't know squat. Because they'll tell you, they say, man, I went down to such and such a place. I ain't gonna say no names. I went down to such and such a place and I paid $4,000. That's like, all right, get in, let me see what you can do. Lock up. Damn, that's wrong. All right, hit the rope. Damn, that's wrong. Take a bump. Ah, damn, that's wrong. You're going to break his ankle. And I was like, hey, bro, disregard everything you just got taught for that $4 or $5,000. We got to start all over. I'm going to teach you from the scratch. Okay? Make sure you bring a notebook in, write everything down I teach you. See, and that's the key right there. You got to write everything down. You're not going to remember everything. See, a real teacher, a real trainer, makes you write everything down. Why? So you can remember everything, because there's so much knowledge to pick up. If you want to be a good professional wrestler, you got to take hold of what the knowledge I'm trying to give you, because it's a lot, see? I got a notebook this thick with notes in it, see? And I'm going to show you all that stuff that's in my notes, everything pertaining to professional wrestling. For example, like Kiera Hogan, that's one of my former trainees. She's in Impact, TNA. But you see her, she's a small young lady. But when I started training her, there's things that she was kind of scared of, afraid to do. Like a clothesline over the top, or a flying crossbody over the top, or, something that a normal athlete would do. But I pulled her aside and I said, listen here, Kiara, if you want to make it in professional wrestling, honey, you're gonna have to do what I show you. You just gotta be bold, and you gotta get some balls, honey. Because if you're gonna learn and you want to make it, these are the things you gotta know. Like she does drop kicks, she does flying cross bodies, she does everything. Why? Because I told her, if you want to make it, these are the things you have to do, because that is impressive to the world and to whoever owns a company. They like to see girls perform that way, like a dude, see? Because I tell my guys, don't you treat the girls like toilet paper. You wrestle them like a dude so they can feel the feeling of being in the ring with a real freaking wrestler. And that's why she's so good. See, and man, I can go on and on about how proud I am about my students, though. But I had to let you people know that if you want to be a professional wrestler, do your research. Just don't just give your money to anybody, and then get screwed and don't know nothing, and then you still can't get no job. So you pretty much just gave your money away for nothing. Then you go into these places, they're not teaching you nothing, right? I mean, and then you go to a match and be like, good God Almighty, who trained you, man? But I know this much. If one of my students go to a show, because I get calls from promoters all the time that use my students, my former students. They're professionals now. But I get calls from promoters. Hey, man, I had one of your guys here last night. Man, he was awesome. Well-respectable person. Man, you did a great job on this kid. I'm going, hey, man, that's just the way I train, man, because that's the way I got taught, see? So I'm just passing on this here baton to these other young individuals. So my thing is old school wrestling, see? Old school style of professional wrestling. And so when people look at my students, they're going to get some good old school professional wrestling. And that's the way I train. I don't care if it's 2021, man. To get a job, you got to learn how to work. Not just get in there and do a bunch of nothing, bunch of spots, then take a bump. I want to see some wrestling. If you want Mr. Hughes to watch you, you better show me some freaking old school wrestling. That's for doggone sure.
Is there any wrestler that you enjoyed working with in particular back in the day? McEvoy Productions is wondering.
Oh, my goodness. Yes, sir, man. I can tell you this. I got a couple of them. The first one was Harley Race. Harley Race is the reason why I got in the game of professional wrestling. When I was a little bitty fella growing up, watching it in Kansas City on Channel 41, 8 o'clock at night, live, that's when it came on. I saw this match. I'm laying on the floor. I was a little kid, so I was laying on the floor, having a little tent made in the room. You know how kids make their little tent in the room, put a light in there, and they had the TV there. And so I'm watching this wrestling, and I happen to see Harley Race and Rufus R. Jones having this knockout, drag out wrestling match, got color, everything. I mean, that match is the match that bit me, man. That bug, that wrestling bug came out of that TV and just bit me, you see? And that's how I got into, that's what made me want to get into wrestling business. Now, I got trained in Harley Race that came back from WWF after his injury, and he bought into this company in NWA in Kansas City, Bob Geigel. He was the freaking promoter. Everybody that's been in the business knows Bob Geigel, Lord rest his soul. And Harley came in one day, and I was like, damn, there he is. And I went, and I finally got to meet him, see? And I told him, I was like, man, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't even be in the wrestling business. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Harley Race is a real champion in my eyes. I mean, he always will be over Flair, Hogan, any freaking heavyweight champion you want to think about. Harley is the best. Why? Because Harley went all over this planet wrestling people. All over this freaking planet wrestling people, man. And he would wrestle for an hour sometimes, man. That is a true champion, a heavyweight champion. But anyway, time goes on, and one day, Bob Geigel, the guy that trained me, him and Sonny, Lord rest their souls, he calls me and he goes, hey, Curtis, I got a gig for you up in Omaha, Nebraska. You're going to be working Harley. I said, excuse me? You're going to be working Harley up in Omaha. Now, at the time, I didn't have no vehicle. I didn't know how I was going to get to Omaha. Well, TC Carter, he was there. He was, we were riding together, but, you know, he had another gig, so he couldn't take me. So I'd asked my Uncle Jack, Uncle Vernon, one of my favorite uncles. And I asked him, I said, oh, can you give me a ride? I got a gig up in Omaha. I ain't got no way to get there. And I'm wrestling Harley Race. He goes, what? I'll give you a ride. I'll give you a ride, nephew. And so we drove up to Nebraska. And we get there, and I go in the dressing room, drop my bag off, and I go find Harley. And, hey, how you doing, Harley? Good to see you again. And go get dressed. I get myself dressed. Now, one thing I learned about this business is you do not go to the veteran acting like he's a superstar and tell him what to do. A lot of young people haven't been taught that, see? They haven't been taught respect in this business for your elders, see? Because if it wasn't for us, you guys wouldn't have nothing to do in this game of professional wrestling because there wouldn't be no wrestling. So anyway, I get dressed, and I was Big Cat then, Curtis the Cat Hughes, and I'm still green. But that I went in because Harley said, yeah, come on over here and sit down. And all he told me was the finish. He goes, here's the finish. We'll do everything out there. I'm going like, I'm, you know, shaking, you know, knees are shaking, you know, I'm nervous as hell. Because see, I was taught you don't talk about the whole match before you go out to the ring. You get the finish, you go out there and you wing it. You tell the story. See, that's what's lacking in professional wrestling. Kids don't know how to tell a story. They just think, okay, we're gonna talk about an hour or two about what we're gonna do out there, and then go out there and blow the whole deck of match, see? And get blowed up and get tired, and then everything goes out the window. The next thing you know, oh Lord, what are we gonna do? Oh my goodness. Well, when I had that match with Harley, man, he took me through the school, brother. I learned so much that one night off of Harley, we barely worked up a sweat. He got me over at the beginning as a freaking baby face. He got his heat. We made the comeback. We went home. Simple as that. Power driver, boom, 1, 2, 3. Rolled out and sold it all the way back to the dressing room. See, a lot of people killing the business now because they don't sell anything. They don't sell nothing anymore. You people that are wrestling and you're listening to my voice, if you want this business to last for you, you need to start learning how to sell all the way to the dressing room when the match is over. If I'm getting heat on your leg, your arm, your neck, your big toe, you got to sell that all the way to the back. You can't just go in there. They've been beating up on your freaking leg for 5 minutes, 6, 7 minutes, and then you just walk off like nothing's wrong with you. And you expect people to come back and buy a damn ticket? I wouldn't. But that night, Harley showed me everything I needed to know. I was sitting there pinching myself, man, because I was like, damn, I'm in the ring with my freaking hero here. And then had the opportunity to work with him up there down here in Atlanta, Georgia. That was a freaking a learning experience all by itself, because me, him, and Luger used to ride up and down that highway, man. I mean, he'd get a cooler. We stop at the freaking local liquor store, fill it up with some beer and whatever Luger drank, put some ice on it, and we was gone. That's how we did it. And then after the show, have ice cold one and head on down that road to the next gig.
Very true. There's a fan on here saying, would you take a job with AEW if they came to you wanting to be a producer? Because you mentioned that obviously that match you were discussing earlier wasn't very well produced.
Of course. You know, they need people like myself in these companies because I'm old school, man. And I believe in old school stuff. Okay. That's going to save the business. Like I said, you got to go back to what got us here today. If you don't go back to what got us here today, it's not going to freaking last. And I see people all the time, fans-wise, dropping off from watching wrestling. I talk to people every day. They see my rings, and they go, oh, my shirt, whatever. Oh, you're wrestling. Oh, yeah, you're Mr. Hughes. Yeah, I used to hate you, man. You know, but they say, oh, I ain't watching no more. And I said, why you don't watch it no more? Man, it's so fake, man. These guys don't even sell no more. You don't know who's a bad guy. You don't know who's a good guy. You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous. It's a crying shame. And so I believe, they need to get somebody like me. Even somebody at one of their freaking training facilities, man. Wouldn't you want your talent to be good so they can draw more money? Because people don't want to see no garbage. They're not going to buy no freaking ticket to $30, 40, $50 for a freaking ticket, and you're gonna sell them some garbage. I'm real with this, man, because wrestling's right there for me, right there. Passion, bro. Over 30 something years, damn near 35 years worth of wrestling I done got in this body. You understand? But I got a lot of knowledge too to give these young people, because the proof is in the pudding. All these stars that I got in these companies, they're champions. They didn't get there just by just walking in. They got there because they're talented, and we're all blessed. Like I said, I pray for them all. I'm saved myself. You understand? And so I pray for everybody, good, bad, evil, it don't matter, to make it. If you don't make it, it just didn't work out for you. But if you work hard and stay hungry, you can get there. So yes, I believe that, if WWF or AEW or TNA or Ring of Honor, hey, Mr. Hughes, man, we understand it. We see all these people that you train, they're very talented. We need somebody like you with that knowledge that can keep this business going with talent. That's what they need.
Someone was curious how Shawn Michaels treated you backstage in the WWE. It was a little bit before his big run when he seemed to really have the attitude problems. Was he okay when you were back there?
Oh, yeah. We got along great. Here's the thing, man. I got along with everybody. See, I might have had an issue with somebody going into a match or during a match, but like Luger, for example, when I came in as Big Cat, we had the same finish, torture rack. See, I came from AWA. We had the same finish, which was the torture rack, right? And so they brung me in to work Luger. See, we went around the country, 20,000 seaters doing torture rack matches. See, whoever got the torture rack put on them first, they lost. Okay, that's how it worked. And so our very first match on the road, I go to the ring and Luger comes to the ring and we hook up. And I'm the heel too, by the way. And so I start out, because my thing was a headbutt, and a punch and things like that, big boot. Well, he wasn't selling my headbutt. See, I'm going like, oh, damn, man. I give him a headbutt. Boom. He ain't selling it. I'm going, oh, Lord. Give him a big boot. He ain't selling it. I'm going, hot damn it. So I take a powder out on the floor. So I can say, all right, what am I going to say to this dude, man? Hot damn it. This guy big as a freaking rock. So I called the ref. I say, I come up back on the apron. I say, hey, ref, man, tell Luke if he don't sell, I'm leaving the freaking ring, man. So, So I work the people for a second while the ref gets a chance to go over there and tell Luger what I just said. And so the ref says, oh, he comes over. All right, gotcha. So I come back in. He does the same damn thing. Long story short, we finish the match. He goes over. I roll out and walk back to the freaking concourse to the dressing room. So I'm in the back, just pacing back and forth, waiting for him to come, pacing back and forth. 38 hot, damn it. And I was like, well, I'm going to let him have it. Here comes Luger through the freaking curtain. He walks back to the concourse where I'm going back and forth. I said, yo, man, what's up, man? I said, hey, man, they brought me in here to get you over, dude. I was like, you ain't selling none of my stuff, man. I was like, how are we going to draw some money if you don't sell my stuff? I was like, they brought me in because they like what I did, dog. And if you don't work with me, this angle's going to end, and then they're going to think I can't work. I said, so if we got a problem, we're going to have to fix it right now. And I promise you, after I confronted him about that situation, we didn't have no problem no more. All the matches were great because I confronted him about it. I just didn't kick it up under the rug, man. I tell my students, man, you got an issue with somebody, tell them about it. Pull them aside. You ain't got to disrespect them, but you're not a punk. Let me talk to you for a minute. Man, the man here, brother, I didn't appreciate you doing that, see? That's why I said what I said to QT, because I didn't approve the way he, had my boy do them 10 freaking body slams, man. That was wrong, see? And I let him know it was wrong. You can do anybody else that way, but don't do my students that way because they're talented, they can work, they can help the company, period.
Yeah, nowadays, no one will confront you about it. They'll just talk trash about you behind your back, and you'll hear about it on the internet.
Yeah, that's pretty much how they do it these days. But let me tell you something. I can care less. Okay, I'm a man, brother. I'm almost 60 years old. You don't. If you're a man, a real man, don't talk behind a man's back. You got something to say it to my face. Okay, we can work it out. There's no need to get hurt over over anything. That's why you talk things out. See, instead of just that mother and this cocksucker and that no good blah 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 blah. blah. And then they put it on social media, and then it goes on and on and on and on and on, and people keep putting their own little lie to it, make it worse and worse, make it sound worse and worse and worse. You know, it is what it is.
Yeah, that's the wrestling business, unfortunately.
Yeah, yeah, but I forgot to mention that Sweet Chin Music. He was good to me, man. We were together for a short period. No, I wasn't with him. I was with Triple H, but but Triple H had wrestled him, and I went out with a few times with Triple H, and I had got that super kick a few times. See, real light, bro. I mean, real takes care of you. You know, he don't tater to you like some guys don't know how to do a super kick and then tater to you, knock your jaw loose. You know, but no, we got along great, man. I got along great with a lot of people in the wrestling business. I didn't have problems with nobody, man. You know, I mean, it is what it is. But I pretty much held my own pretty good. People might say things, behind your back, but I pretty much got along with everybody.
Speaking of super kicks, do you teach your students the leg slapping stuff that's now been so overdone in wrestling? Because I don't recall you ever doing leg slaps when you watch you wrestle.
No, I don't do that, man. I try to stick to the realistic things. Like, for example, when I teach you a punch, it looks realistic. You don't have to make no freaking noise. Like, guys hit their damn shoulder when they freaking punch. I don't do that garbage. Because the way I teach you the punch, it already look devastating. The way it looks, see? But it don't hurt you. It's real safe, but it looks real, see? And I tell people when I teach them the punch, I say, listen, when I show you this punch, you're going to have to practice it every day. If you want to perfect this punch and you want it to look believable to the fans and you don't want to tater nobody, you got to practice the punch every day. Things that are hard, you have to practice them every single day. Like Gabriel Dean, for example, he does a lot of flipping and flopping, right? And I told him, he's one of my students, and I told him one day, I was like, Gabriel, when you go train, why do you do the easy stuff? Everybody knows that you can flip and flop because you post it on freaking line all the time. Show them that you can wrestle. Show them you know how to do this stuff besides flipping and flopping. So here's the thing. A lot of young people, they'll do things that they know is easy for them to do. And so when they get in the ring, that's what they'll train all day doing. Instead of saying, man, I need to work on this punch. Man, I need to work on my big boots. Man, I need to work on drop toe holds, wrist locks, hammer locks, head locks, all the holds. See, that's wrestling. See, that's what I teach, wrestling, man. Because all that flipping and flopping stuff, that'll come later. You can't flip and flop 10 minutes. You're going to blow up. And so I'll teach you how to work a hold, how to sell when you're working a hold, how to put a hold on and counter the hold, go back to the hold. I mean, just total old school wrestling. And let me tell you, people enjoy watching that kind of wrestling than this garbage where you've got a spot fest going on. And both guys blow up to high heaven and then they forget to finish. I see it all the time.
For your time in ECW, what was it like working with Paul Heyman?
Oh, he was a good guy, man. Paul Heyman, man, he gave me a call. I was like one of the first guys that he called. He let me know that he was putting this company together called EC. It was called Eastern Championship Wrestling. He called me up. Hey, what's up, Cat? People still call me Big Cat from back in the day. Hey, Big Cat, what's going on? Paulie here. Hey, what's up, Paulie? How you doing? Oh, man, I'm putting together this company, and I was wanting to see if you'd be interested in coming aboard and riding this train with us. And I was like, huh, where's it at? He goes, up here in Philly. I was like, oh, well, hell, I ain't doing nothing else. He goes, we talked about some money, and we said a deal, and boom, it was done. And so I've known Paul E from back in the ECW, I mean back in WCW days. See, when he had hair, and back then he was good. I mean, he was good on the stick. He was good about the knowledge of professional wrestling. And so, I learned, matter of fact, I learned a lot from him when we was at WCW, in our WCW days. So when he called me about it, I was like, oh, I'd be glad to, bro. And, we talked about some money and got everything worked out. And he flew me up to Philly, and we started at the old ECW arena. It was a hellhole, too, by the way. I mean, it wasn't like you see it these back in when it started getting lit up and better and better and better. I went in ECW when they did a TV taping at this old abandoned looking high school. I mean, it's like they had 10 lights and it was dark. I mean, I think I wrestled Sandman or something like that, his debut or something like that. And those guys are green back then, Taz and the Dudley Boys and him and quite a few of them that was training in the back, before a show sometimes because they were just training. See, and Paul E, he was smart. He was trying to bring in guys, superstars, to get these young cats over. See, to build the company up. So he was bringing them in and having us do jobs for these kids. See, that hadn't been nowhere, hadn't been on TV, hadn't been nowhere. And so I know that I had just got off TV with The Undertaker, so I wasn't going to just kill myself off that daggone easy. One day he had me do a match with Mikey, wanted me to, Mikey got me over a few times. Thank you, Mike. But he wanted, but when I was close to leaving, he wanted me to do all these jobs for everybody, man. But I had to go to Paul, hey, brother, appreciate the opportunity, my man, but I got to go. I can't kill myself off like that, man. I got bills to pay. You think I'm going to come up here and just let these nobody name guys just beat the hell out of me, and I'm still young enough to make it back in the WWF? And I did end up going back there, see, 3 times. So I had to protect my freaking character, you see. But yeah, Paulie was a great guy. He's still a great guy. He helped me out a lot here. He's a great mind in professional wrestling, and he's having a damn good run right now. But the bad thing about it, he did hurt some people as far as screw them in their money. I never got screwed out of my money. A lot of those guys later on down the road that stayed there at ECW, a lot of them got screwed, even though they put their bodies on the line, maimed themselves. Lord rest his soul, New Jack, man, he did some stuff that was crazy for that dude, man. I mean, he'd fall off a freaking building, a scaffold, and bled like you wouldn't believe. Of course, even Sabu, Sabu, I remember when he started, he didn't have a freaking scratch on his freaking body. He started freaking ECW. They changed it to Extreme Championship Wrestling. Then he started going through barbed wire and freaking maiming his body. And I'm going like, dude, you must be getting $1 million to do this because them scars do not go away. You see? And because when Paul E wanted me to start that color stuff, I was like, oh, no, that's not my thing, bro. I did enough of that in Puerto Rico, see? And I had 2 shirts that I took with me. And every night I had to soak them, see? And I was like, Paulie wanted me to start getting color. And I was like, dude, I don't do that. He goes, oh, I need it in just this one match. We had worked the Bruise Brothers in a cage match, me and Shane Douglas. And I'm going, yeah, we need you to get a little color for it. And so I just went, boop. That's all you get, partner. Had a little trinkle, but that's all you're getting out of me. Because I really didn't believe in that. I'm black, I'm dark. You can't see it from afar. Now, if I was a Caucasian and had blonde hair, oh, yeah, no doubt about it. You can get that color, brother. Hell yeah, make it look real good. But a brother has no need to get no color because you can't see it. And, them days are over. Colors don't exist no more. You don't even need to do color no more to get a match over. I don't understand why people think these days you got to get color to get a match over. People don't buy that stuff. They already think, they already know. They know everything. They know what you use. They know all the ins and outs of why you get it. So don't waste your time and do it no more. You don't know what people have. You don't know who's been tested. You don't know what kind of disease somebody got floating around in their blood, right? And then you contaminate each other's blood. Next thing you know, you're sitting there in the hospital sick as a freaking dog because you didn't know nobody had hepatitis. You understand? And so you have to be real careful. Of course, some young people don't give a damn. They just got to, ooh, I'm going to get me some color, man. We got a packed house, 50 people. I'm going to get me some color. Damn fools.
Yeah, speaking of that, Abdullah the Butcher from Atlanta was doing that wrestling, getting it while he had hepatitis. So
Yeah, man, that was a bad deal right there, man. You know, I don't wrestle people that bleed. I just don't do it. That's not in my DNA anymore. Like I did it with Carlos Colon over there in Puerto Rico. I did it with Invader that killed Brody over there in Puerto Rico. You know, but those are the only really two people I actually bled with. But then I did that cage match in ECW. That's the only time I pretty much got color, man, because like I said, I'm too dark. You can't see it if you're sitting far back in the rows there. You ain't gonna see me bleeding. Unless you're sitting real close around the ring, you'll probably see some color at the end. See? But you know, it ain't worth it these days.
and well, since you bring up Invader, just to wind it down here, were you at all nervous about working with him? Because that must have been fairly soon after the whole Brody
Yeah.
incident.
Well, let me tell you something, man. You know, I've heard about the story. Tony Atlas told me the whole story many a times. And when I went over there, I already knew about it. And when they, like I said, when they always brought me over, I always worked Abdullah or Carlos or Invader, you know, one of those three. And all of them bled all the time. And uh, I, I had a match with Invader one night. And I was like, oh man, this is the guy that killed Brody, damn it. And so I was like, well, as long as I don't go in the shower, I ain't gonna talk to him in the shower. I, said that to myself. And so we was talking and in the dressing room, we were talking about the match a little bit, talking about the finish. And then we went out there and, you know, but one day, when I got my payoff envelope, because it was the last show of the night, Sunday night, fly back home. And I got my envelope and I'm looking in the envelope and I'm counting my payoff, see? And on the front of the envelope, you know, has your name and then he puts the payoff at the top and if there's any deductions, you know. And so I look at the front and I'm going, okay. And then I pull the money out and I'm counting my money, see? Counting my payoff. I'm going like, ah, damn it. You're a little short. And people say, man, you know, if they short you, man, you know, just kayfabe, don't say nothing. I say, huh, bull crap. So I went and found Carlos. No, first, he was in there. You know, the guy that, you know, Invader, the guy that killed Brody. I was like, oh, hey, Invader, because Invader was in the office. I said, hey, Invader, you got a second, man? I said, hey, you know, my envelope's a little light. My envelope's a little light. Because we need to talk to Carlos about that and Javica. Javica was the guy the money guy, see, Javica. And so I found Carlos. And I said, hey, Carlos, man, a little light, bro. He goes, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, brother. Javica will take care of it. And so through that whole process, my butthole was puckering, man, because I was like, I'm looking around, making sure nobody gonna come and stick me out of nowhere, man. I mean, yes, I was worried, I was nervous, but I got my money. I remember one time I went over there and and Carlos didn't give me all my freaking money. So I jumped on the plane and came back to Atlanta, see? And so my driver that picks you up from the hotel that takes you to the gig, he went to the hotel, but I was gone. I wasn't even there no more. So he went to the front desk. Hey, is Mr. Hughes still here in such and such a room? They go, no, he checked out. So they didn't have cell phones back then, had a landline. So he calls my home and I answered the phone. It was Carlos. Hey, brother, what are you doing back there? We got a show tonight. I'm going, man, you didn't give me all my money, man. I was like, I'm not staying here if you're going to screw me. I ain't got time for that. You know, I just got off TV with WWF. I was a hot potato, man. I can go anywhere and make some money. And so he goes, no. Come back. I pay you. Come back. I get you another ticket. You go to the airport. I was like, I need my money, Carlos, man. I need my bread, bro. I got bills to pay, man. He goes, no, come back. I pay you. I give it to Victor. He was the driver. I give it to Victor. When you get off the plane, he give you envelope. So I said, all right. So I got my bag and went back to the airport. Went to Puerto Rico, got off the plane, walked to baggage claim. Victor sitting there in the car. Hey, got in the car. He gives my envelope. I count my freaking money. We went to the hotel. Just that simple. Because I don't mess around when it comes to my money. I teach my students about it, and I show them. Don't put up with no crap from these promoters. I had one of my students with me one time. We was up in West Virginia, Odell, the AT alien, and we had this show, but the guy didn't hustle. The promoter did not hustle the gig. So there was not a lot of people there. When I say there was not a lot of people, there was about this many people there. And I'm not kidding. It was light. And so here comes because he could have canceled, but he still had to pay us. So he ran the show anyway. Marty Jannetty was there. Me and him supposed to work together, but he had some bad ankles, so he couldn't do that much. But this is a shoot. He'll tell you if you talk to him. So anyway, we did the show. Okay, he goes around paying everybody. He gives him my envelope, right? I same thing. I count my bread, but he's a little short because I brought one of my former trainees with me. He worked, so you got to pay him. So I'm going, yo, hey, bro, you're a little light here. I said, where's his? He goes, Mr. Hughes. Whoa, don't start that. I was like, no. And my students standing there watching me do business with this promoter because I wanted to teach him, see? And so what he had to end up doing, he went around to all the young people, took their payoff back so he can pay my guy. Because he was talking about, well, if you can wait till midnight when the ATM, dude, no, I'm leaving. When I'm going back to the hotel, I'm going to take a shower, get me something to eat, get up and go home. I'm not waiting around that long. You're going to pay me before I leave this building. And so he went around to all the young people he paid $20 to, got their $20 back because he said he'll pay them back later, and paid my guy. And like I said, I was teaching them how to deal with these promoters. I was like, you see how you do that? Don't take no crap off promoters because they'll try to stick it to you. Period.
Yeah, the one thing I regret about Carlos is he owed me a lot of money too, but I did the favor of dropping the tag team title before I left when I should have just left with the title because he never ended up paying me the full amount.
Exactly. Right. See, that's how you do it. See, you be like, let me take a powder so I can get my bread. See, each time Carlos don't owe me no money because I did what I needed to do. Like when I left, I let them know I don't mess around, see. And like I said, I just got off TV, so I was a hot potato. So I was drawing for him, see. So they was taking care of me, see. But he tried to think he could run that scam on me real quick, see if I'd fall for it. But no, I didn't fall for it. I let him know, you won't give me my money, man, because I jumped on the plane. So he had to turn around and buy another ticket to bring me back, see, because we was in the main event. And they plugged it like that. We did promos and everything. Oh, I'm going to come on, beat the black off of you, Carlos, blase. And so the people would come, man, and they hated my guts. I mean, they were throwing poop and piss and rocks and glass, you name it, shoes, anything get their hands on, they threw it at me. That's how much heat I had over there.
Well, you've been very generous with your time, very interesting stories, and I'm sorry to hear about that situation with your student. Hopefully they can fix that in some way and make it up to you, but I'll let you close this off with whatever you want to get off your chest.
You bet. I appreciate you bringing me on here, Hannibal, no doubt about it. So you fans, you heard my story. You heard about professional wrestling, and we talked about a lot on this thing today. But the main thing is about young people getting in the wrestling business. If you want to be a professional wrestler and learn from the best, trainer of superstars, teacher of superstars, champions of Total Protection is your guy, give me a call, 404-668-7003, because I teach you how to wrestle. I don't take your money. I teach you knowledge that you're going to use throughout your career. So with that said, thank you for having me, Hannibal. Rock on.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and click the